Are you a League of Legends player trapped in ELO hell, desperately trying to escape silver to get gold rewards before season's end? Well, have no fear. I'm high on painkillers, and I'm here to help. Last season, I reached Platinum as a support main, so I assure you, escaping silver is all about how you carry yourself. Let's start with the pre-game setup. How you carry yourself before the match starts largely influences how a series of games is going to go. What some people do is look up a guide for a character they hope is overpowered and they can carry with. They buy the character and queue up for ranked, but what happens is either the champion is banned, taken by the other team, someone on your team takes the role, making your selection inefficient, or you have a team composition where it doesn't work well. You shouldn't go into solo queue ranked with only one role and one champion, as you'll very often find yourself without said role or champion. A roster of 3 or 4 that you practiced with will offer you security against the random forces at play. Hypercarries and the like that scale well, and you can make plays with are good, but be certain at least one character on your roster can be used as a tank. What's going to happen frequently, if you are set on playing Zed for example, is even if you do get Zed, you'll wind up having a full damage top, jungle, and support, and lose the game 25 minutes in from having no tank. You need to accept something. You aren't a challenger smurf, and people in Silver League suck. Accordingly, many matches played at this level will have both teams securing a lead and then throwing it at several points during the match, so recovery is not as unlikely as you might think. But just the same, tanks at this level are very effective due to the fact people will focus and attack the first target they enter combat with, and only rarely break off to focus a more viable target. As such, tank characters are exceptionally useful because they will consistently secure attention at low-level play. And there are benefits to playing as support. It's a very rarely called role and comes with a wide array of tank choices and a sightstone for ward and map control, which can be very helpful in low-level play, as knowing when to dragon fight and having the wards to spot an impending Lee Sin steal, as well as being beefy enough to block oncoming enemies, can save your team from a lot of potential throws. And in the current metagame, it also gives you control of which enemy is hit by exhaust, allowing you to do things like watch for the indicator that a Rengar is near, and spam the exhaust button around your own AD carry to gimp Rengar between exiting stealth and attacking. A single champion may win you a game, but mitigating the instances your team will throw the match and successfully capitalizing on enemy throws is what's going to get you out of silver. Some things that decide the fate of a game are not bound to a role, such as keeping an eye on respawn timers to know when to back out after a successful teamfight to avoid a throw, or when it's safe to take Baron. Personally, the go-to support I recommend for people is Leona. She's tanky with good initiation, peeling, and delay capabilities, with a kit that's easy to use, but other supports such as Braum, Tahm Kench, Morgana, Thresh, Blitzcrank, etc. are also viable in many situations. If you do adopt a certain character as your preferred main, and it's likely that you will, it's important that you not only understand your own kit, but research the kits of your counterpicks and commonly picked lane mates that you will be up against. Riven, for example, is very scary to a lot of people, but after using her 3 Q strikes, she can be harassed at level 1 easily due to its cooldown. Many players make the mistake of taking a burst from an enemy and then running away, allowing the cooldown to reset. So the simple act of familiarizing yourself with the cooldown timers of an enemy that is giving you trouble, in low-level play, can cause you to easily win lanes you would otherwise lose. On the subject of preferred matches, you should remember the meta is not gospel. If you're very unfamiliar with how to play a champion, you're probably better off using a kit you're familiar and practiced with, as taking a first-time champion into ranked is a habit that will get you demoted. Likewise, if for example you're top lane versus Vladimir, it might be a good idea to take Ignite instead of Teleport. Think of the meta more as a guideline than actual rules. And finally, teamwork. Gentlemen, it's a team game. Act like it. Pull up your pants and dress for success. Yelling at your teammates will make them go on tilt and be worse, and you'll probably be worse as well. Rather than whining about the inevitable lack of MIA calls, consider positioning your ward further down the river so you have more time to notice and react to an oncoming enemy, or, failing that, another teammate has more time to notice and retreat ping to notify you. Keep an eye on your minimap and what your teammates are doing. If your face is too close to your screen and you don't notice the minimap very well, try improving your posture and being less of a slob, or try watching the in-game posture of your opponent to see if they suddenly become unusually aggressive, or another enemy has been gone for around the time it would take to arrive at your lane. Awareness is your waifu. It wants you to be happy, it wants you to be platinum. On the subject of awareness, your teammates might not have any. If you're a jungler, for example, and are coming to gank, it's probably a good idea to ping once or twice to let your teammates know you're there, as they may not notice you or may stand around cluelessly for the first few seconds, potentially causing you to die. Remember, humans are prone to making massive lapses in judgment. It can also be helpful to lighten the mood in the pre-game lobby. I normally go about this by calling a roll, and if someone else calls it, I might say that while I normally do it, they can have it if they'd really like it, but I would require a carry to diamond and a churro. While this does not always work, often people are more endeared to you, and now want to play better out of a desire to impress you, especially if their lane opponent is one of your primary characters, and you make a big deal about it in the lobby. There can be only one. And if at all possible, team up with someone. People you can depend on reduces the risk of the odd disconnect or 0-8 Yasuo. And if you're an affable person in the game, there's going to be a lot more people wanting to add you to their friends list and queue with you. Never forget, it's a team game. This has been my guide for rapidly escaping Silver League. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Later, YouTube.